Today we're talking about completing the square. Here is our warm-up, and so what I want you guys to see is what this looks like when we expand perfect squares, because this is what we're trying to complete. We're trying to complete the square so that we can take it and take whatever our function is and turn it back into this perfect square situation. And so x minus 4 times x minus 4, you can either use the box or you can FOIL. And so this would be x squared minus 4x plus 16. And so when we combine all of our like terms, this would be x squared minus 8x plus 16. When we do this one, it ends up being x squared plus 10x plus 25. Then on number 3, this one would expand to x squared minus 70x plus 1225. And so what I'm hoping you start to see here is that this middle number is twice as big as whatever's happening here. So this would be like 2 times 5. This is 2 times negative 35. And this is 2 times negative 4. And then this last part is negative 35 squared, positive 5 squared, negative 4 squared. And so that's always the pattern when we have this situation. And so what we're going to be looking for is this pattern so that we can go back to this perfect square format. So we are trying to figure out what number is going to complete my perfect square. And so here, if this number is 12, the number that goes here in my equation is half of this number. So I would do 12 divided by 2, and that's going to give me 6. And so this one's positive, so this is going to be plus 6 squared. And so when I turn this into the perfect square format, this is going to be x plus 6 squared. And so we can double check and make sure that we did this right. So x plus 6 times x plus 6, so that you believe me. X times x is x squared. X times 6 plus 6. X times 6 plus 6x. 6 times 6 is 6 squared, which is plus 36. So 6 plus 6 does in fact give us 12, and 36 is 6 squared. And so we're just changing the format from expanded form to perfect square format. So it'll work the same way here. Divide this by 2, and this would be negative 8 squared. And so we're adding that negative 8 squared. And so this, because this number is negative, is negative, or subtracting x minus 8 squared. Okay, so the way that we're going to work through this today, you've kind of seen the structure of things, but the way that we're going to work through this today is anytime we have a number, that's going to go to the other side. So my first step is x squared plus 14x plus something is going to equal 61. So I'm going to add 61 to both sides. And then to keep my equation balanced, I need this blank and this blank to be the same. So I can keep my equation balanced or equal. They need to be the same. And so if I'm going to add something new to this side, like we did in this last problem, like we added 36 to this, we added 64 to this. And so to keep my equation balanced on both sides, in this next problem, I need to add the same thing here as I do on this side. And so here I have 14 divided by 2, that's 7. So what's going to be added on this side is 7 squared, which is actually 49. And so my new equation, when I combine all my like terms, this part over here is going to be x plus 7 squared, and then I have 1 plus 9, and then 6 plus 4 gives me 10, plus the carryover 10, and so this is going to equal 110. So 61 plus 49 would be 110. And then this is where we can stop today. When you did this process in Algebra 2, probably, maybe Algebra 1, we did this so that we could get x by itself. So at this point, you could do the square root of both sides and then subtract 7, and now x is by itself. But this is, so for what we are doing here, we just want it in this format, because what we're doing in this next unit, this is where we would stop in this unit. Let's do another one. So remember, I need this number on the other side, and the x squared plus 2x needs to be on this side, plus something. I'm going to add 65, and so this will be positive 55 plus the something that we're adding to both sides. So 2 divided by 2, that's 1, and then we're going to square it, and so 1 squared is just 1. So we're keeping the same thing on both sides, keeping our equation balanced. And so I have x plus 1 all squared is equal to 56. And that's where we can stop. Okay, we'll do one where there's a number sitting in front as well. And so here, same thing as before, I want 6 to be on the other side. So 2x squared minus 8x plus something is equal to 6 plus something. And so what's going to happen on this one, to simplify our life, we need to factor out this 2 first. So x squared minus 4x plus something equals 6 plus something. And so here, now the number that I'm dividing isn't the 8, it's the 4. So negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2 squared, which is really positive 4, so negative 2 times negative 2 is 4. But then because this 2 is here, it's actually going to distribute to this number here, and so this is 4 times 2 is actually 8. And so there's a couple of different ways that people write this. If you want to do 2 and then fill in with the 4 that's on the inside, so that you don't forget, like if there's a 2 on the outside here, you need a 2 over here. What's on the inside? What's on the inside? If adding parentheses is helpful for you. But either way, the number that's being added here is actually 8. And so 6 plus 8 gives me 14 as my final number, and then this would be 2 times x minus 2 squared is equal to 2. And what we end up doing is dividing and getting 2 by itself, or getting x minus 2 by itself. And that's going to equal 7. And we can stop there. So here, if there's a number on the outside, it needs to show up on both sides, or you can just put 8 on this side by itself. Okay, and so just so you can see kind of where we're headed with this and trying to keep all of the parts straight, we have multiple things happening. So we have x squareds and we have y squareds. And so first things first, we want to separate our x squareds and our x's from our y's. And so same on this one, y's with y's, x's with x's, and then my number needs to go on the other side. So I end up with negative 120. I have x squared minus x plus something. That this one is going to be our red blank, and so we're adding a red blank here. And then we're also going to add a different color to my y situation. So plus my y situation, because those two numbers that we're adding are actually going to be different. So I'll start with the y. And so here I have 24. I'm going to divide that by 2. And so 24 over 2 is 12. Remember that we're squaring it. And so 12 squared is 144. So on this side I'm going to add 144, because on this side I added 144. And so then on this side, this is negative 2, needs to divide by 2, and so this is negative 1 squared. So negative 1 times negative 1 is actually positive 1. And so when I add all of these things together, you can grab a calculator and do this with me. Negative 120 plus 1 plus 144. And we end up with 25 on this side when we combine all of our numbers. And that is equal to y plus 12 all squared. And the x values are x minus 1 all squared. And so all the parts are happening together. And so this is where we're headed and why we're starting with things that are a little bit simpler, where it's all just x's, but where we're headed for the next unit is there's going to be x's and there's going to be y's, where we're completing the square to take it from this format to the perfect square format. And that's it.